Ted Sanford is a college senior and a candidate for a BS degree in electrical engineering. He comes from a small community on the outskirts of Chicago and graduated #2 in his high school class. His academic record earned him a full scholarship, and he's maintained a high grade average, 3.8. The last 3 summers, he's worked as an electrician's helper with an Illinois electrical firm near his home. He lives in a co-op dorm where he serves as treasurer and tries to keep up with a rigorous academic schedule. Ted is fast approaching a major decision in his life. What career path will he take? Who will offer him a future? Whom will he accept? The interviews he has signed up for may well direct the pattern of his entire life. I'm Jim Rivera. I'm a second-line manager at IBM, and I'm here to represent a facility that has quite a number of openings for engineers. And naturally, we want the very best available. I came to this campus 2 weeks ago to do some advance work with the help of the corporate college relations and recruiting representative. It's important to get out on the campus, talk with some of the students informally, and meet with their professors. Often they can give you good leads and line up promising students for your interviews. The night before you conduct your on-campus interviews, you meet with the college relations and recruiting rep and IBM managers from other facilities who are also here to interview. You compare notes, go over the resumes of the students who have signed up, and try to match their qualifications to your needs. Of course, these are not in-depth probes, but it often saves time when, let's say, a student has a background in macroelectronics and your openings are concentrated in some other field. The student who doesn't meet your particular requirements could be referred to one of the other IBM representatives or to another facility that may have a need for that person's skills and training. When you return to your own room, it's advisable to think through some specific questions that will bring out information not given in the resume. You owe it to yourself and the applicant to do your homework, because 25 minutes for an interview doesn't leave room for needless questioning. This is what we call the pre-planning stage, the first of 6 steps in the interview process that will help you reach the all-important final decision. Is this person the best qualified candidate for IBM? So, you're from Chicago, Ted?
Well, about 20 miles north, Winnetka.
Oh, I grew up in Evanston. New Trier used to beat us consistently in football.
Oh, we've always had a first-rate football team.
So, how did you happen to come east to college?
Well, this is one of the best engineering schools, and I grew up in the Midwest. I thought I'd like to try a different area of the country.
Well, what made you zero in on electrical engineering?
Well, ever since I was a little kid, I've always been technically inclined. I remember when I was about 10 years old, I had our house wired so that bells would go off in the kitchen anytime someone would come up the front walk. And things like that have always fascinated me. So I don't think there's ever been any question about my going into anything but engineering.
Mm-hmm. What particular areas of electrical engineering do you find most interesting?
Well, I've sort of settled on logic design.
You find that interesting?
Oh, very much so. My math professor, Dr. Emmich, can probably take a lot of credit for that. He's a real inspiration to me. This man has a way of solving problems which is positively unreal. And math has always intrigued me. As you can see from my resume, I've had a lot of math.
Yes, I noticed. Have you had any special class projects?
Yes, I have. We actually designed a computer on paper, that is. As a matter of fact, while I was working on that, I studied the IBM System 360 computer architecture.
And you did that as a team project or alone?
As a team, there were 4 of us that worked on that together.
What specific part did you design?
The adapter was my responsibility.
Oh. Well, tell me a little bit about some of the design problems you faced.
Well, I had to establish from the machine architecture a certain timing analysis between the microprocessor and the box that I had to interface with.
What are some of the things that you like least about your curriculum?
Well, I don't really care too much about economics. I had a course once, an elective macroeconomics, supply and demand theory, all that. I really couldn't get too charged up about it, so I ended up squeaking by with a C. History is another area that I'm really not too fond of, to be honest. My parents always told me that I'd learn to appreciate it as I grew older, but that still remains to be seen.
Have you gone out for any extracurricular activities here in college?
Not very much. I do play intramural soccer, and I try to get some skiing in when I have time, which again isn't too often, not if you want to maintain a decent grade point average.
I noticed from your resume that you spent a couple of summers, 3 in fact, as an electrician's helper.
That's right. I wanted to get some practical training using my hands, and also I needed the money.
Let's pause for a moment and review how far this interview has taken us to this point. I've just been through the second and third steps of the process. The second step, opening the interview, is simply a brief getting acquainted phase. This should take no more than 3 or 4 minutes tops. I wanted to put Ted at ease and establish a basis of mutual trust. We found common ground in our Midwestern background. I then moved to step 3, getting information. Why did he go into engineering? What particular areas interested him the most? What did he do in school to further that interest? Is he a team player? What are his likes and dislikes? I probed into his summer job experience and learned something about his on-campus interest outside the classroom. Questions such as these are designed to bring out a student's attitudes, feelings, motivations, academic performance, and relationships with others. We're now ready for step 4, giving information about the job opening, the company, and the kind of working environment we have to offer. Students prefer an honest, solid explanation of how they would fit into the company in terms of their skills and abilities. They want to know about the challenges they would have on the job and what kind of opportunities would be open to them for professional growth. We encourage our engineers to continue their education and keep up with rapidly changing technology. Many go on for advanced degrees, and we have various programs to help them do so, both financially and from an advanced technology point of view.
Well, that certainly appeals to me. I definitely don't want to stop learning after I've left the classroom here.
Well, if we want to continue to be successful in the information handling business, we must be on the leading edge of technology. We're exploring all kinds of ideas and concepts and schemes that literally stretch the imagination. To do that, our engineers and scientists must be tops. Self-motivation, teamwork, and the thirst for knowledge are absolutely key to success in IBM. At this stage of the interview, I have a pretty good impression of Ted's background and training. And I've given him an overall sketch of IBM, professional career opportunities, the kind of